Welcome to the Energy Efficiency for Renters webinar. We will take a few minutes to let folks filter in. And in the meantime, I'm going to launch a poll for attendees to fill out while we're waiting for the webinar to officially start. And panelists, feel free to answer as well if you'd like. For those who have joined in the last 30 seconds, we're going to take a few minutes to let attendees filter in, go from one Zoom call to the next. And in the meantime, please fill out the poll you should see in front of you. We'll give it another minute here and then we'll get started.
Lizzie, while we're waiting, can we just double check that you can hear me?
Can hear you. Thanks,
Great.
Chris.
I just switched laptops, but I'm back.
Cool. Okay, I'm going to end the poll and we'll get started here in a moment with our introductions of panelists. Welcome to all our attendees. So for our panelists and our attendees, it looks like those in the audience are mainly in single family homes and 3+ unit apartment buildings with one attendee in a duplex or condo. Oh, here are the results. All right. Well, welcome everyone to Energy Efficiency for Renters. We're so happy to have everyone on the call today. We'll start off with a round of introductions and then we'll dive right into our presentation. This should be about an hour with the entire call ending no later than 6:30 p.m. So thank you for taking your evening to spend it with us and learn about energy efficiency. I'll get started with the introductions. My name is Lizzie Carrad, and I'm the Sustainability Coordinator with the City of Albany, and I will pass it to Yessie.
Hi everyone, so I'm Yesenia Vargas. I'm a field representative with Energy Upgrade California, which is the educational program under the CPUC.
And Dante?
Hi, I'm Dante. I'm with Rising Sun Center for Opportunity, and I'm the outreach manager. And we'll talk a little bit more about what our program does in the presentation.
Great. Dan?
Hi, this is Dan Lieberman. I'm the marketing director at East Bay Community Energy and also have lived in Albany for, I think, 22 years now. So glad to be with this audience.
Great. And Chris?
Hi, my name is Chris Hunter. I'm a program services specialist with Stop Waste, and I'm here representing Bay Rent tonight. I'll talk about what those two different agencies mean when it's my turn.
Great. And Michelle?
Hi everyone, I'm Michelle and I'm the Community Development Analyst at the City of Albany.
Great. So as we mentioned, everyone will be explaining their different organizations throughout the presentation, but a few logistical things before we get started. All attendees are muted and will stay muted for the remainder of the webinar. If you have questions, please put them into the Q&A. You should see a button at the bottom of your screen if you're viewing this on your computer. Add your questions to the Q&A and we will either fill them out by typing them out throughout the presentation, or we'll save questions for the end. And at that time, I will moderate and give different questions to different panelists, and that is how we'll handle any questions. We'll also share out our contact information and the slides after this presentation, likely tomorrow via email. So as long as you signed up via Eventbrite, you should receive that email. But without further ado, Michelle, if you would like to launch the slides, I will pass the mic to Yessie.
Okay, and so we're off. So hi everyone, thanks so much for joining us. This webinar is essentially going to cover energy efficiency at home, how you can do it, the benefits, and yeah, we can go ahead with the next slide. So quick introductions, what is Energy Upgrade California? You may have seen billboards, you may have seen ads, but basically to give a quick rundown, we're a statewide initiative under the California Public Utilities Commission, and our mission is basically to help all Californians become more energy efficient. We were born after SB 350, which back in 2015 set the state's energy goals. And those were some pretty lofty goals. It was, reducing carbon emissions back to pre-1990s levels, moving a third of the grid to renewable energy. And this is a directive that kind of gave our program its start to double energy efficiency all by 2030. And so, yeah, next slide.
Sorry,
So, yeah, here's a quick video that kind of explains our messaging.
Sorry, I have to switch tabs really quickly here, everyone. Bear with me.
Thanks, Michelle.
Everyone see okay?
Yes.
Dear California, we know these are
Oh, I
challenging
think it auto-played the next video.
Energy bills are rising. Together, we can save
energy and money by taking steps to stay cool while
YouTube autoplay, a feature it should never have enabled.
Yeah.
Are we good now?
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, what we do is kind of broken out into partnering on events with nonprofits, with cultural centers, with small businesses. We provide materials to organizations that can help us spread this sort of message. So we've got a statewide network of chambers of commerce, community groups, all of that. And then on the residential side, it's events like these. So we talk directly to residents and small businesses about Energy Upgrade California, the resources we offer for energy efficiency, and what they can do. So as the video kind of explained, obviously the larger benefit, and looking at this holistically, it's about fighting climate change, it's about all the environmental benefits that come with energy efficiency, but on the personal level, it's also very much about reducing your monthly energy bills, saving money, and that little growing your heart 3 sizes about like doing good things for the environment. So it's kind of a mix of all of that. Next slide. And so we've very much seen this past year become very challenging to be energy efficient and very challenging to be environmental overall. So, you know, a lot of people are spending more time at home now that, you know, you're doing both schooling and work from home, and almost everyone has seen their energy bills rise as a result. You know, there's been also a rise of things like single-use plastics. And so overall, it's been a very challenging year to be environmental, added to the fact that there's been, you know, various economic challenges. And so that's why we're very much stressing behavioral changes instead of things like expensive retrofits or, you know, things that are like too costly. So we're really urging people to just start with like what they can do in terms of, you know, changing up their behavior. So right now you are probably using more electricity because work from home, school from home, and, you know, can't go out as much, so a day in is Netflix or things like that. But you can still save energy by maximizing the use of natural light. So as shown right here, I've got the window open instead of using any overhead lights. You can lower your screen brightness, use a power strip, utilize sleep mode, other power saving features. Most of your technology will actually come with things that say, you know, this is power saving mode, and it'll automatically dim your screen or do other things like that. When it comes to the other elements of the pandemic, so obviously a rise in face masks, wipes, things like that, we're urging people to go for reusable versions, and when you wash them, to use the cold cycle, so either tap cold or cool water, just because water is actually a very poor conductor of heat. And so you're spending a lot of energy to heat it up, and it, you know, it gets just as clean with cold water, since, you know, back in like the 1940s, it wasn't the case, but detergent formulas have changed. And so now you get things just as clean with cold water. And so we urge people to do that. And the last thing is, now that everyone's at home, you might want to look into changing the filters for HVAC. So that's heating and AC. You might just want to look into changing those filters or cleaning them, depending on your model, more regularly, so they don't have to work as hard. So this should be done every 6 months on average, but if you have pets, every 3 months. Right, and next slide. And so we offer a home energy audit to kind of help you get started with this whole thing. Basically, it lets you say, okay, what am I already doing? What more can I do? And you can literally cross off aspects. So I know this might be a little hard to read since it's a lot of text on one slide. So if you go to the next one, you can view some of these individually. So one of the big things is the two largest users of energy in most households are going to be lighting and heating and cooling. And so with HVAC systems, we recommend, you know, if possible, you know, for medical conditions, obviously there's exceptions here, but if possible, set your thermostat to 68 or lower in winter and 78 or higher in summer. And so these are still comfortable temperatures, but this way you're not cranking it too much and you're able to save energy and money. If you can, this will kind of vary depending on the type of dwelling, and that's kind of why we had that poll. But if you can adjust your water heater to 120 degrees and add insulation. And so that's a very simple, you know, thermal blanket to improve energy efficiency. And again, going back to the filters. So these make your HVAC system work harder. So just make sure to clean or replace them accordingly. Next slide. And so again, the second largest use of energy in a household is typically going to be lights. And so it very much starts with, all right, is someone in this room? No, then the lights don't need to be on. You can check with your energy provider for ways you can switch to sensors, timers, and dimmers for your lights and appliances. And I believe my other partners here will touch on that. So I know BayREN has a retrofit program. I know Rising Sun does greenhouse calls, so we will go into that as this webinar goes forward. And another thing we advise is check for energy vampires. So this basically means an appliance that uses energy even when it's turned off. So as long as it's plugged in, it's using energy regardless of whether it's actually on or not. So this is typically anything with an LED display. So a coffee maker, for instance, if it has like an LED display, even if it's turned off, it is still siphoning energy. And so just make sure to unplug that or use a smart strip. And next slide. So we're here as a resource. You can download the home energy audit and plenty of other resources at energyupgradecacommunity.org. You can also sign up for text reminders at our website. And so it's this new text tool called Goldie that sends weekly energy challenges. So that way you're able to see, oh, this week we're doing an HVAC cleaning. And at the end of the challenge, you'll get to know, okay, Californians in total saved this much energy by doing that. So it very much helps to know that when you do this, you are part of a movement. I know sometimes it can seem a little alienating going green, but you can definitely see that you are a part of a larger movement and it is having an impact for California. Okay, and next slide. And so just a couple of other things. So this very much depends on where you are as a resident, but the California alternate rates for energy, the CARE program, is an income-based discount program. So typically you can take up to 20% off your monthly energy bill. And this is something you want to check if typically most of our customers, I suppose, are in PG&E, SDG&E, or SCE territories, and so this very much differs. I know EBCE will be talking a little more on the specifics as we go on. And another thing we are pushing right now is the medical baseline program for residents who depend on power for medical or independent living. So normally this requires a signature from a medical practitioner, but you can actually self-certify this year since we are still under COVID restrictions. So that is something we very much urge people to look into. And next slide. So here you can see, and this is again part of our website, here you can see kind of like the individual stories of our, I suppose this is our wall of energy heroes. And so it goes from homeowners to small business owners, to community organizations. We even have like a mayor on there, I think Lancaster. But basically you can see stories of individuals and how energy efficiency helps them, both in terms of, it's a feel-good thing, it's a community action, but also it very much does have tangible benefits, for the planet and for your wallet. And next slide. And so here you can see our websites. We'll talk a little more as my co-presenters also go on into theirs, but you'll be receiving these slides after the fact. And this is just where you can find out more information about each of our programs. And next slide. And that's all I've got. So we will move along.
Thank you, Yessie. Now we have Chris from Bayren.
Great, thank you, Yessie and Lizzie. So hi again, my name is Chris, as I mentioned, and I work with Stop Waste. I'm going to talk a little bit about Bayren, I'll get into that, but first, for those who are not familiar with Stop Waste, we are a public agency that serves Alameda County, as well as its 14 cities, including Albany, and 2 sanitary districts. And the easiest way to think of us is as the outward-facing sustainability department for the county. So as the name suggests, we started and still a lot of our work really revolves around solid waste reduction. So we help residents, reduce the amount of waste that they send to landfill. And we really have a goal of landfill obsolescence. But beyond that, Stop Waste still does some great work around things like food waste reduction. We support all of our cities in developing their climate action plans and other environmental policies. We do K-12 environmental education. And then the team that I'm on, there's a small team of us that works on green buildings and energy efficiency. And so that's mostly what I'm here to talk to you about today. So you can go to the next slide. So Stop Waste is, in addition to everything else I just mentioned, Stop Waste is the Alameda County representative of the Bay Area Regional Energy Network, or BayREN. And BayREN is a collaboration of the 9 counties that make up the Bay Area, as well as the Association of Bay Area Governments. So it's 10 public agencies in total representing quite a large area all around the Bay Area. And the main mission of BayREN is to help the state meet its climate goals through offering various energy saving and water saving and electrification programs. So we work really closely with single family homeowners, multifamily properties and their renters, small businesses, contractors, real estate professionals, as well as local government staff. And so we offer incentive dollars as well as trainings and educational opportunities. So BayREN does offer three residential programs for single and multifamily properties. Those are separate, technically considered separate programs. I'll dive into that. And the funding for all of these rebates in these programs, it comes from ratepayer dollars. So every month on your PG&E bill, if you go to the second or third page of that, there's a line called a public purpose program surcharge. It's a little bit of a mouthful. It's just a couple of dollars a month, and that goes to the state, but then the state reallocates it to organizations like BayREN in order to provide these programs. So that's the way we frame it is everyone is already paying for this, and we really just want everyone to take advantage and help improve your homes. So you can go to the next slide. So when it comes to residential energy efficiency, BayREN really tries to take a whole house approach and really think of your house, not just in terms of how much energy it's using, but think of your house as a system. And just like, you know, we think of it similar to your own body, your own personal health, how every once in a while it's good to just go for a checkup, make sure everything's okay. And I think everyone knows intuitively that one part of your body, one system in your body affects every other part of your body. And it's the same thing in your home. So I'm sure some of these examples, these are all really common examples that we see in homes around the Bay Area. I'm sure everyone has experienced at least one of these in a place you've lived before. So either it's an old and inefficient furnace that makes a lot of noise, doesn't work very well, and that really raises your energy bill because you're having to run it all the time. Maybe your house is really cold in the winter, really hot in the summer due to a lot of drafts and air leakage. Again, the really noisy appliances can be a nuisance and really make your home less comfortable. And aside from comfort, there can be really serious health implications of some of these issues as well. So if you have too many leaks in your home where air is getting in and out, or you're not ventilating well enough, you can end up with a lot of moisture and condensation. That can lead to mold. It can lead to pests coming in the home. These can all trigger asthma and respiratory issues. And so we really try to just think of all of these together, and a lot of the solutions that we offer and the measures that we offer rebates for really try to address multiple of these issues at once. And so, for example, instead of only doing your furnace, we really try to encourage insulating your attic and repairing your duct system at the same time you do your furnace, so that furnace is actually in a position to perform well and really make your home more comfortable and save you money in the long run. So unfortunately, a lot of these retrofit options aren't available to renters. As you can imagine, if you're renting a house, you cannot just go in and upgrade the furnace without getting the permission of your landlord. It's too bad. We really wish we could help renters make some of these changes, but we do still have a few resources available. So you can go to the next slide. So the first one, and this is always what I tell everyone in presentations I give, whether it's homeowners or renters, this is the single most important resource we offer. So it's a home energy advisor. It's a free call line, so you can call at any time or send them an email. And it's a whole group of experts that they're third-party experts. They do not receive a commission or anything like that. They're really here to help you plan your project. So if your home is really drafty and you're having a lot of comfort issues in your home, or if you have a really high energy bill, you can call them. They might be able to help you walk through the different systems in your home, really see what's causing that problem, and help you find solutions. This wouldn't be quite as relevant to renters, but they can help you find contractors and compare quotes from contractors. And then they can also refer to complementary programs. So I mentioned that BayREN doesn't offer too many rebates for renters to retrofit the homes they live in. But if you qualify for a care rate plan, or if there's smaller upgrades you can make, like upgrading the light bulbs or getting a smart power strip, and there's programs available for that. The advisors can help connect you to those resources. So again, it's totally free, totally unbiased. We really highly encourage you to give the advisor a call if you're having any energy issues in your home or your apartment. So the phone number and the email is down there, and usually they usually will get back to you within a few days when you reach out. Okay, then next slide. And then if the problem in your home is a little bit more serious and you really do think there's something that you need to do a bigger retrofit for, then these are the options. So there's, like I mentioned, there's a single family program that's called Home Plus, and then a multifamily program called Bambi. And so if the building you live in has 5 or more units, you would qualify for the multifamily program. If it's 1 to 4 units, you qualify for the single family. I'm not going to walk through these in too much detail, but essentially they help homeowners and property owners update things like the furnace and air conditioning units, water heaters, windows, insulation, air sealing, appliances. We really offer rebates for a whole range of measures that can help make the home more comfortable, reduce energy use, improve indoor air quality. And so if you have a good relationship with your landlord, I understand that not everyone does, but if you do, and you think they might be able to make some changes to improve the building, we would highly encourage you to send this information to them, send them that link at the bottom, and have them reach out to us, and we can help your landlord really figure out how we can help. And I think that's all I have. I'll put my email in the chat in case anyone has questions.
Thank you, Chris. Just a logistical thing, we do not have a chat today. We just have Q&A, but we will be emailing out slides, resources, and contact information after this webinar. Next, we have Dante from Rising Sun.
Sweet, thank you. Thank you guys all for joining us tonight. Like Lizzie said, my name is Dante. I'm the operations manager, or excuse me, outreach manager at Rising Sun Center for Opportunity. Today we're going to be talking about 2 of the programs and the services that we offer. So Rising Sun is a nonprofit organization committed to partnering with underrepresented communities for job opportunities, training, while also tackling the issue of climate change, which affects marginalized communities first. We do that with 2 different programs, Opportunity Build and Climate Careers. Opportunity Build is an adult industry certification construction training program, which provides a path to union apprenticeship in trade training. And it's a 12-week program, and we do that in Oakland. If you want to learn more about that program, you can check our website. But I'm mostly going to be speaking about our other program, which is for you guys, which is the Climate Careers program, and something that we do in that program called the Greenhouse Call. So since the year 2000, Climate Careers has been operated by a highly innovative youth empowerment program, addressing climate change by employing 15-year-olds up to 22-year-olds to go into homes and provide energy efficiency services. And they've done that to over 50,000 residences across the Bay Area. Can you go to the next slide, please? Next slide. Oh, yep. Thank you. So through our Greenhouse Call program, youth are trained and paid to visit homes of community members, such as yourselves, in order to do quick water and energy efficiency retrofits, which include exchanging incandescent and CFL bulbs with LEDs, installing smart power strips. I think we have some more. We can keep going in the slides. Educating clients on behavioral changes they can make, and more. So also similar to the BayREN model, and it's worth noting that we are also contracted with BayREN. This is a no-cost service. So that PG&E surcharge is also paying for the service as well. So this service helps lower water and energy bills, can reduce a home's carbon footprint, and is also giving young people the opportunity for a decent paying summer job where they can learn about climate-related issues and receive one-on-one professional development. The only thing is now during the pandemic, the Greenhouse Call program isn't available. We're flipping to a different model. We're doing everything remotely. It's worth noting that the Greenhouse Call program is available to renters and homeowners, regardless of any income, although we do not service apartment buildings, trailers, or commercial spaces. And you don't need a landlord's permission to qualify for these calls because we're not doing any like permanent changes to the unit. We just send something a kit, which we will talk about in a moment. Can we go to the next slide? So due to the ongoing public health crisis, Rising Sun has pivoted our model to a no contract model, which still allows residents to reduce water and energy use at home. But we're not going into homes anymore. We're doing everything remotely over the phone and internet. So in order to qualify for a greenhouse call for a kit that we send out, we ask that participants complete a survey or call one of our representatives over the phone. The survey takes about 15 to 20 minutes to complete and includes questions regarding your home's existing water and energy usage. And the survey also typically asks some personal information about income and ethnicity. It's worth noting that that's totally optional. It's something that we ask participants to fill out if they're comfortable filling out, but it's really to help us as an organization get a better sense of who it is that we're surveying to better fulfill our mission. Once you complete the survey and your eligibility is determined, we can send out an energy and water savings kit directly to your home. And next slide, please. Oh, let's do these. Yeah. So fill out the assessment survey online over the phone, receive your free kit, and then we will follow up with personalized tips to programs and devices that can help you save even more. Next slide. So this is our kit, or this is what comes in our kit. As you can see, it's mostly LED light bulbs. We also have a shower head and a smart power strip. Comes with a nice little night light. The kit's valued at close to $150. Also includes sink aerators, and like again, is at absolutely no cost to the participant or whoever signs up for the kit. And after you receive your kit, we'll give you a follow-up call to make sure that everything is installed correctly and to share other resources with you. Last year, we had 2,100 eligible residents signed up for our program, and they all received kits. Next slide, please. So if you are interested, you can apply for the kit by looking at this link right here. You can also call us at this number or send us an email at this number. And again, we're not going to be putting this in the chat, but we will send this all out with follow-up email. And with that, I am done. Thank you guys for having me. I'm going to pass it on to Dan next.
Yes, thank you, Dante. Next is Dan Lieberman from East Bay Community Energy.
All right, thanks. I'm just going to present a few overview slides here about EBCE, and then I guess we can head into Q&A, but very happy to be here with these other organizations that EBCE has been happy to partner with over the last couple of years. So for those who don't know, EBCE is a public non-for-profit agency. We were formed by 14 local cities, including Albany and also Alameda County. And we launched our service 3 years ago. We provide electric generation to customers in those cities and in the unincorporated areas of the county. And that means that we're buying the electricity that people use. We're the default service provider, so customers are automatically enrolled into our service. And that includes residential, commercial, and municipal accounts. So customers they are defaulted onto our service, but can opt out anytime. But most customers stay on our service because we offer an option that is lower than PG&E rates. And we currently serve about 630,000 accounts. As you can see here, we've saved customers over 26 million on their PG&E bill since we launched. We've donated over $2 million in COVID relief funds, and we've contracted for 550 megawatts of wind and solar, including a new 57.5 megawatt wind farm that is just about to go online in Livermore. So we're really excited about that. And we have a few local energy programs that we are going to start offering customers. And that's in addition to the programs that you get from PG&E. So next slide. The way it works is that EBCE buys power, and that's a combination of long-term contracts. We make spot market purchases, and then we invest in facilities that serve our customers. And then PG&E delivers that power and bills you for it, and you just continue to pay PG&E for transmission and distribution service like you always have. If you have a power outage, you call PG&E, you're paying them for that service. And PG&E they're financially neutral about having EBCE provide our service because power procurement was never the way that PG&E earned profit. And people have questions about that. I'm not going to go into that in more detail. Next slide. So EBCE offers our customers several options. We have these three here. Bright Choice is slightly below PG&E rates. I say that it's like getting 1% cash back on your electricity purchase. Brilliant 100, it's priced exactly the same as PG&E, and it offers 100% carbon-free energy from solar, wind, and hydropower. And that's the default service for this residents in Albany. And then we have Renewable 100, which is sourced exclusively from California wind and solar, and that costs, it depends on how much energy you use, but it's typically around $5 a month for an average residential home around here. And then, of course, you can opt out and return to PG&E anytime. Albany City Council picked Brilliant 100 as the service for Albany, so that's how that decision was made. But you can switch to any of these three anytime you want, or return to PG&E anytime you want. And next slide. And I just wanted to show a bill image. This is the first page of a PG&E bill, and your billing for EBCE comes from PG&E, and often customers are confused because they see this charge and they think that that is an additional charge on their bill, and wonder if they're paying more. But please know that PG&E puts a monthly generation credit on your bill when you're an EBCE customer. That doesn't appear on the first page. It appears on usually the third page of a residential bill. But that credit offsets all of EBCE's charges and the new fee that you'll pay PG&E. So if you have questions about your bill, there's a link there, ebce.org/understandyourbill. We have some videos and some explainers. And I guess one more thing I'll mention before I finish is that Yessie mentioned the CARE programs and medical baseline. Those sorts of programs automatically convey over. You don't need to reapply. You get the same discount when you're on EBCE service. So if you are on CARE medical baseline, if you're a PG&E employee or retiree and you're on their discounted rate, all of that automatically ports over when you're an EBCE customer. But I'll stop there and happy to answer questions.
Thank you, Dan. And thank you to all of our speakers and to our attendees for the Q&A that's been coming in through the Q&A function. As a reminder, if you have questions, we will not be unmuting attendees, and we do not have a chat function. We have the Q&A function, so please put your questions in there and we will answer them as they come in. Michelle, if you don't mind stopping screen share, I will switch back to gallery view. So everyone should see us now. I've answered a couple questions throughout the presentation. As a reminder, we will be emailing all resources, these slides, and contact information out by the end of the week, as long as you've provided your email address to us via Eventbrite. One question that's come in through Q&A open to the group, because I do not know the answer. Are there statewide resources I missed for assisting someone in a rental unit? Do any of our panelists have thoughts on that?
Sorry, I was muted. So yeah, you can visit energyupgradeca.org, as well as energyupgradeca community.org, and download resources there. Our energy guides, so it's kind of there to walk you through a step-by-step sort of thing. And we'll include a PDF copy and the resources that'll get sent after this webinar as well.
I don't know if the question was directed specifically towards energy assistance, but there is still a statewide rental assistance program going on, I think through the end of June, due to COVID, to provide back pay for missed rental payments. So if you're in that situation, I know the one in Alameda County, Lizzie, I can send you a link for that, and maybe you can include that in the follow-up. But it's a program that previously was paying 80% of missed rent payments since the start of the pandemic, and actually just last week, the governor announced that they would be increasing that to 100%. So if you're in that position, that is a really great resource, and there's only a few more months to apply for that.
Thank you to Chris and Yessie. I'm not seeing any questions in the Q&A box right now. As a reminder, if you have questions, please type them in here. I will pose a question to the group. At a time that either you were renting, or if you put yourself in the shoes of a renter, what's one energy efficiency thing you've done to help save money or reduce your reliance on greenhouse gases? I will say that as a renter, mine is thinking about how and when I heat my space. I make sure not to run the big central heater for all my roommates who then maybe like conditions a little bit cooler than me, so then open the window and then we're running the heater longer. I like to make sure I'm thinking through how I'm heating my space, and also have open conversations with my roommates about the conditions we want to live in and how we can lower all of our collective costs.
I'll go. I feel like actually probably the most impactful thing I do is bug all of my friends about energy efficiency, because most of them don't work in this field and have no idea what any of this means. And so I'm always the one that is teaching them and getting them to change their habits. But in terms of my own apartment, I'm pretty lucky in that I live in an apartment in San Francisco where the air is cool, but I have a lot of windows. And so I basically don't use any energy to heat or cool my apartment, because I open my blinds, let the sun come in to heat it up in the morning, and then the afternoon, if it gets a little too hot, I can just open my windows and cool it off. And so that's been really great to not have that expense. Then the only other thing, I think pretty soon in Albany, everyone will be transitioning to time of use rates. I don't know if we want to go too deeply into this, but you probably should have gotten some letters from PG&E, and I'm sure Dan can talk about this more, but basically electricity is going to start costing more in peak time. So from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m., you'll have to pay more for your electricity. And so just being proactive about doing laundry and running the dishwasher, things like that, either in the morning, or if you work from home, just during the day while you're working, and then in the evening, try to save power as much as possible.
I'm happy to hop on now and follow up on Chris's suggestion, because we did also send some notifications to customers about the transition to time of use rates. All EBCE customers who are in Alameda County, which is most of them, are being transitioned this month to time of use rates if you're not on them already. And you can decline that, but most customers will probably take the time of use rate. It means that, the default rate is TOUC, which has higher prices between 4 to 9. I'm sure Yessie can talk about the Keep It Golden campaign and trying to use less power between 4 and 9. EBCE is encouraging our customers to do so. It allows us to rely more on renewable energy, and it makes the grid more reliable. And in that, toward that end, there's a technology. I can't endorse a specific company. We're not, we're a public agency, but we have worked with a company called Ohm Connect. I think Rising Sun has done a little work with them too. They have a program. I just actually checked while we were on this call to make sure this is a legitimate offer, but they'll send 2 free smart plugs or a free programmable thermostat if you sign up for their program. And that helps you they have a program where they'll ping you when rates get really high in the system statewide, not just on your bill. And you get some compensation for having the smart plug turn off in a 15-minute increment. I use mine, and I just actually program it to turn off during the last 15 minutes of every peak hour. So that's like my small way of shifting load from peak to off peak. Plug it into my refrigerator, so my fridge shuts off for the last 15 minutes of every peak hour of pricing. And it's my own little way of trying to help, shift the California load from peak to off peak. So I'll leave it at that. That's an easy thing for a renter to do, and you can sign up on their website.
I will add, I know there's been some nervousness about time of use, but I believe you'll be getting this in the mail when your utility provider sends you a bill 90 days and then 60 days and then 30 days in advance. So they give you plenty of time to kind of read over exactly what it is. But while it is automatic, it's not mandatory. And I believe the first year also comes with sort of a price protection. So it's going to compare your averages from like month to month over the past year. And so if you end up paying more on time of use than you normally would, they will refund that difference for you. So a lot of customers have actually been able to save money through time of use, and so they've chosen to keep it. But going back to the original question, I think something I've done, so I've always been a renter, hard not to be in LA. So something I've always done is really trying to maximize natural light. So especially now that I work from home, pretty much the moment I'm up, the whole apartment's full of light. So I can just use that until it's time to sign off. And it's not until the evening that I really turn on any lights. So that's been actually pretty good for my bills.
Thank you. And real quick, I'm going to put a pin in this question and go to some of the questions we're getting in the Q&A just to make sure we have a chance to answer them. These are for Dante from Rising Sun. I didn't hear what Rising Sun said about exceptions to whom is eligible for their packages. Is someone renting one flat in a duplex eligible?
Yes. So if you're in a duplex or a multi-unit building up to a fourplex, you are eligible for the kit. We unfortunately are no longer able to service people in apartment complexes with more than 4 units. Previously, that was something we were offering. Again, renters are totally allowed to apply for a kit without getting permission from a landlord because there's not a permanent change. So you can sign up for one. You don't have to get approval because we're just sending you light bulbs and some basic fixtures. Everyone in the city of Albany should be able to apply, except for people in apartments. There are certain municipalities in the Bay Area that we cannot service, but if you are in Albany, we don't have any exceptions there.
Thank you, Dante. Any other questions from the attendees? We have about 13 minutes for questions. If not, now I'll open it to Dante and Michelle to share if they have been renters. I may know the answer to this, but what is something they've done to save energy while renting?
I'm going to piggyback on what you guys are saying because I mean it's very true for me. Is I feel very fortunate that I live on a 2nd story unit and we have a light that enters the apartment pretty much throughout the day. So until the evening, we don't have to turn on any light fixtures, which is really nice. You know, we try to minimize the amount of lights that are on in the nighttime and turn lights off in rooms that we're not in. And, you know, I think even, and then when we can, taking shorter showers or less showers, I think is a big deal too. But that's about it. I would say trying to do laundry throughout the day is useful. We have laundry in a separate building on site, and I don't think we're paying for that, but it is something that we definitely do during the day.
Yeah, I've also been a renter. I am a renter, and one thing I'd say is that, you know, we're in one of those places that has a pretty bad furnace that's not efficient at all. And we try to be really thoughtful about when and how we use it. You know, if we are using it, we're making sure that we're containing that heat, that we're spending time near the furnace where, you know, it's not spreading throughout our apartment. It's just kind of located in that one space. So instead of turning it on and leaving to the kitchen, we'll hang out over there. And, you know, just using other sources of heat too, blankets and warm clothing and that sort of thing. So we're not just running it all the time. That's definitely a big one. And then also just, again, with the natural light, using the natural light as much as we can. And then also limiting light when it's getting too hot, and trying to keep the apartment cool.
And I also, someone in the chat talked about cloth coverings for windows. So that's a definite help in the hot months.
Mm-hmm. There's also a question in the chat about something called kilowatt. So I haven't heard of this, but maybe the rest of you have, and you have some comments on that.
I typed in a little answer there, but it's a technology that you can use to see the energy consumption in real time of something that you plug it into. So you can plug your TV into that and then plug your TV into the wall and see in real time how much energy it's consuming. So it's a helpful tool for giving you a sense of scale, I think, with, your, maybe your refrigerator versus your computer versus, some other thing. But it in itself is not an energy saving device. It just provides information. And I wrote in there also, I believe that you can borrow a kilowatt from some of the tool lending libraries around here, including the Berkeley Tool Lending Library, but maybe other folks on the phone can confirm that that's the case.
Yeah, it's a useful tool. So for instance, one of the things I mentioned was energy vampires, things that consume energy even though they're turned off but plugged in. And so a kilowatt's really useful for measuring that and knowing like, oh, well, I only watch TV, a couple hours a day. I can unplug it when I'm not actually watching it. And then just to piggyback off of what Dan was saying, you don't have to buy one. You can totally just get one from a lending library. I think actually some public libraries are starting to offer them as well, so you might just look into that.
Awesome. Last call for questions. We do have to close this webinar in about 9 minutes. So last call for any pressing questions you have about energy efficiency for renters. While we wait for maybe that last question. Oh, here it comes. A friend told me about Ohm Connect. Have you heard of them? I think, Dan, you mentioned Ohm Connect during your presentation.
Yeah, I did. And I mentioned I can't endorse Ohm Connect. I cannot endorse them. But we have done some partnerships with them, and they offer a service where you can get compensated for curtailing your electricity use during certain hours when the market pricing gets very high. So it tends to be around this time of year when things get hot in California and market prices get really high. They aggregate all of those customers by controlling a smart plug or a smart thermostat. So you're basically giving permission for their app, their software or whatever to shut off that smart outlet or or turn down your thermostat in a 15-minute increment. I think it might be a full hour for a thermostat. I can't remember offhand, but yeah, I mean, that's an easy tool. It's sort of a set it and forget it. That's one thing that I like about it is you can get a smart plug and you have to give them permission to access your PG&E smart or green button data. And then that way they can confirm that you actually shut that off during the time when you made it available for them to shut off.
I don't know if they still do this, but they used to, at least anyways. When you sign up, if you gave the code to a friend and signed up your friends, you got a referral bonus too. So it's an added bonus there for getting all of your friends to sign up for that as well.
They do. Chris, you going to give people your sign-in name so you get some bonuses here?
I won't do that here, but can share that.
Dan, I just wanted to clarify for the audience that the reason you can't actually endorse them isn't because you don't like them. It's a legal thing because you're a public employee. So just in case anyone was confused and thought that Dan can't endorse them because he really doesn't like Ohm Connect, it's not because of that.
Thank you for clarifying. I usually try and find a few vendors who I can suggest. I am coming to a blank about what vendor that provides a similar service right now. They're probably out there, but I'm
yeah.
Great. Well, seeing no other questions in the chat, if you do have one final question, you've got about 10 seconds to throw it in the chat. Counting down now. All right. Seeing none, I would like to take these last few moments to thank again our presenters for joining us on this Energy Efficiency for Renters webinar. We all know that energy efficiency is not only good for the planet, but good for our wallets as well. And particularly as renters, when we're trying to lower our monthly payments, I think energy efficiency is a great way to benefit that and fight against climate change. As I mentioned, we will be emailing out all resources and contact information in an email later this week by Friday. No promises that it'll be tomorrow. But if you did not provide your email address on Eventbrite, make sure you either re-register and provide your email address so that we can email you. And we will have a Energy Efficiency for Homeowners webinar next Monday. You can find that information for that webinar on albanyca.org/calendar. And then if you go to next Monday, you'll see links to sign up for that if you are a homeowner or are just curious to learn about how you can conserve energy as a homeowner. With that, I believe that is all we have. Again, thank you to our presenters. Thank you to our attendees for being interested in energy efficiency and for being a part of the change. We appreciate you all and hope you have a great rest of your afternoon. Thanks
everyone.
all. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.